How to beat Goukis. Technically, Knightmare Goukis, because you're mainly using Goukis as a link and summoning engine, and you're trying to establish a board with some Knightmare monsters, as well as any other link monster of your choice, whatever you want to use. You can make Firewall Dragon if you want. So that's obviously an option. But I want to focus on beating the deck. It's not much about beating the monsters themselves, because the Goukis don't do that much individually. It's more about reusability, recurring, spamming, as it were, right? Because they're trying to link as much as possible. So you don't need to stop the main monsters as much as you would need to stop the link summons. If your opponent goes first and they're establishing a board, then unless you have stuff like hand traps or something like that to stop them, they're going to establish a board, and then what, right? They establish a board, what to do? Because for them to establish a board, they have to use up a lot of resources, right? So let them establish a board, then break the board. You just got to have a way of breaking the board, a way of making sure you break the board. I did mention Firewall Dragon, but there are cases where they might have Trigate Wizard. That will make it a little bit harder because of the ability of Trigate Wizard's ability to negate a card or an effect that is activated, right? So something like trying to set up a scenario where you're trying to dark hole or something. After you get rid of Cerberus, if they still have, they have Trigate Wizard, they could negate it, that type of stuff. So it just depends on their board, but on average, what you'll see on the board the most would be Cerberus, Phoenix, and Goblin. Goblin makes it where you can't target the co-link monsters. Phoenix will make it where you can't destroy the co-link monsters by battle, and Cerberus will make it where the co-link monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. So you won't be able to just Dark Hold or Regeki the board, right, with him on the field. So you got to get rid of him if you want to play a Dark Hold or Regeki. If you can break the board by attacking with by doing battle by attacking, then you might want to get rid of obviously Phoenix in order to attack and kill all the link monsters. And targeting is a little irrelevant, when the Regeki don't target, Dark Hole don't target, right? Certain effects don't target, especially if you deliberately play cards that don't target. You want some options to try to deal with these three monsters in particular. The fact that Goblin makes it where you can't target, you won't be able to do something as simple as like a Book of Moon or a Sky Blaster or a 101 or anything of that nature that the targets to try to get rid of something like as simple as Cerberus, so that we can play Dark Hole or something, or get rid of Phoenix, that way you can kill Cerberus and Goblin with attacks, because they're relatively weak. That's the thing, they're relatively weak. Phoenix is decently strong. 1900 is pretty decent, so you obviously want to you can run them over if Phoenix is not on the field. So a lot of times you just need to get rid of Phoenix, just so you can use your monsters to attack. It just depends on the situation. If your opponent has back row, obviously you gotta deal with their back row, but that's where Twin Twisters, MST, things of that nature, Hate Trunade comes into play. It's written like Hate Trunade, throw it in there. Should be pretty much in every video. Hate Trunade, Vulcanized Tornado. So just gotta get rid of that back row, so that way you can deal with the front row, which is going to be the Knightmares. So once they have the board established, you need some ways to try to break the board, which won't be too difficult, especially if you have kaiju, for example. You can kaiju Cerberus or Phoenix, whichever one you need to deal with, or you can get rid of Goblin, and then if you have monsters that have effects that target and whatnot, then you use their those monsters' effects to get rid of Phoenix and Cerberus, and then try to attack directly, of course. But then something as simple as Book of Eclipse can definitely help break a lot of boards. You just need as long as your opponent's board can't negate a spell card, then Eclipse can help easily break boards, because if the monsters are face down, there's not much they can do. Now I just remembered Link monsters can't go face down, so Book of Eclipse won't work against Link monsters, so this won't help against the Knightmares. You can use this to break other boards, of course. Even if your opponent only just has a whole bunch of face-up monsters. I will take out the Eclipse right now. That was a slight oversight, because it's like, you can't switch them to defense, so obviously anything that has to do with defense is irrelevant, and anything that would essentially put them face down won't. So Eclipse won't work against Link monsters in general. But it doesn't target, so that was one of the reasons why I was using it. I was like, Book of Moon targets, can't use that. I was like, Book of Eclipse don't target. But then now when you think about it, it's like, well, I forgot, you just can't put them face down at all, or switch the battle position to defense, so that's irrelevant. But there are other things in this, that you can use. Just the fact that they have effects, that prevents them from being targeted, destroyed by battle, or by a card effect. Playing anything that can negate that, like King, Cali. If you're playing DDDs, 2 level 8 DDDs can go into this card, and then this card can make all your opponent's Knightmare monsters lose their abilities. And if they don't have their effects, then you can Regeki or attack and kill them by battle and all that stuff. You definitely want to get rid of the Phoenix as soon as possible, right? So that way all the other ones can just relatively easily die. Mermail Abyss Guile, same thing. Used as effect. You got a blanket effect of negating all your opponent's monster effects. They're currently on the field. That has less attack than this card until the end of the turn, and he's 28. So yeah, they're all of these are definitely gonna lose their power. Even Griffin will lose. Well, Griffin will prevent obviously this guy's ability, but you get the idea. It will get rid of the rest. We have full armored Crystal Zero Lancer, also can blanket negate the effects of the Knightmare monsters. Ice Beast Zero Fine. You need 2 level 4 Wing Beast type monsters, so if you play Black Wings, Ray Raptors, Harpies, or anything of that nature, obviously this is something you definitely should always have in your extra deck for those types of decks, because this is very useful for helping break boards. The ability to negate all effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently control is very useful, and it doesn't only work on monsters, it also works on like back row, field spell type of stuff. If there's anything on the field that has an ability, this will negate it, so that will help you break boards. And it's a 2000, so it can definitely run over Phoenix relatively easy with that 2000 attack. Then if you're playing Beast Warrior, a deck that has Beast Warriors in it, like obviously Fire Fists or Fire Kings or Bujins. If you're playing Light Swarms, and use 2 wolves to make this, however way you can get this bad boy on the field, it'll be worth it. You detach, use his ability. Now he has the blanket effect. What's good about his ability is that he doesn't only apply for that turn, he will also apply for your opponent's next turn. So he'll keep doing his ability for 2 turns, which is awesome. But you definitely need it only for that 1 turn to make a difference. But the fact that it can do it for either player's turn, you go first, play this, activate its effects, set back row, and end your turn. Oh, this will only apply. My bad, I forgot. This only applies for the monsters that are currently on the field. If they stay on the field, of course, they'll for their turn, they'll still lose their ability. So you can't play this first turn, and then get the effect. This has to be a going second ability, but the ability to just negate face-up effects is very useful, very important, because once you get rid of all their abilities, then they're easier to break down. You can, if you're playing Cyber Dragons, you can obviously use Mega Fleet if any of these Link monsters are in the extra monster zone, so you can use it to break down your opponent's board. Sometimes they have Borlo Dragon or something similar to that in their EX zone, in their extra card zone, that's helping them be mutually linked, and by getting rid of it, you can weaken the link, as it were, and try to break down the board. If you go first and you make something like Abyss Dweller, it'll be useful. These cards here in particular, these 4, are for if you're going first. Everything else, Mega Fleet and whatnot, these are going second, when the board is established. But to help prevent the board from being established, you have Cyber Dragon Infinity, negate monster spell or trap. If you use the ability to stop Gouki's rematch, that's good, since it can only be played once per turn. You stop that. You slow down the combos that they can do, or you can stop the effect of any of the Gouki monsters, because they'll try to chain block you. So as long as you can slow down their plays, it's all useful. But just in general, because once they normal summon Suplex and use Suplex effect to try to special summon, you can use Infinity to negate that, so it will prevent any special summoning, so they won't get the whole Suplex Twist Cobra play and then try to go into Isolde. So you can just stop that by just flat out negating Suplex summoning ability and destroying them. So you can make their normal summon useless and then slow them down. Totally awesome. Same thing. But also you can steal the card and use it to your own advantage if the card is of any use to you. YUGIOH will help stop the summoning of Isolde. You can also use this effect to negate Gouki's rematch if you want. Doka, help you negate the effects. Again, you use the ability to negate Suplex's ability. That will give you an advantage. The fact that you can use Doki's effect more than once in a single turn. If they do something to try to activate another effect so they can keep on going, you can use this. Another use for this is that if you use this to try to stop Gouki Suplex, right, and then they try to use like a hand trap or something, a monster hand trap to try to negate Doka, you can use Doka's effect to negate the hand trap, right? So you can keep control of the board. Abyss Dweller will negate the effects of the Goukis when they go to the graveyard. So even if this gets removed from the field by a card effect or something like that, the fact that you already activated through your opponent's standby phase, it's a lingering effect, so it's definitely worth having. You can use other stuff that's similar. You can even use Rafflesia. You can play Trap Tricks, or you just so happen to have Rafflesia in your extra deck, and there she is, and you play Bombless, or in your deck, obviously you can use Rafflesia's effect to activate biomass from your deck to biomass your opponent's link summon or normal summon or whatever, and just slow them down greatly that way. So obviously Regeki Dark Hole will help you break the board if Cerberus is not on the field. So if you kaiju them or use something like use something like Hyper Hammerhead, Grand Mole, DD Warrior Lady, anything of that nature, anything that has an effect that doesn't target and will not destroy the monster but will remove the monster, either by banishing it, bouncing it to the hand, or sending it to the graveyard, or sending it back to your opponent's deck. As long as it doesn't target and it removes the monster, it won't be it'll be useful. It won't be destruction. Therefore, you can get rid of Cerberus that way. You can obviously get rid of Phoenix with any of these effects. That way, Cerberus and any of your other nightmare monsters, any of your opponent's nightmare monsters can die by battle and just attack. It depends on your board. If you don't have like a dark hole, but you have the ability to swarm with a whole bunch of monsters, including these types of monsters right here, then it's like, alright, well, I just summon, get rid of Phoenix, and now I can kill the rest with attacks. Relatively simple. Ultimate Tyranno. I was just thinking of taking him out right now, but I realized it's like, yeah, his Book of Moon effect, aka Book of Eclipse effect, obviously won't apply for Link monsters, but his ability to attack all your opponent's monsters, is relatively good. So it can attack all your opponent's monsters. They control once each, so they don't have to be in the best position for him to attack him. He could just attack them all. So if you summon, so in a Dino deck, if you summon Ultimate Conductor Tyranno and then summon like Hyper Hammerhead, you can use Hammerhead to obviously get rid of Phoenix, and then use Conductor to run over all your opponent's nightmares. So if you're playing a Dino deck, make sure you got your Hyper Hammerhead. It will help you break this board. Since Tyranno won't be able to help you break the board by flipping them face down because they're Link monsters. So you're gonna have to have Hyper Hammerhead to back them up. Again, Grand Mole, bounce something on the field to the hand. It doesn't destroy, and also you don't take no damage, and it's reusable. So and you can have 3 of them now. He's off the restricted list, so you can have 3. Then you can use stuff like, obviously, Kaiju, Lava Golem, Meteon the Time Lord also has a Grand Mole-like effect. You summon it, you attack with it. After battle, all your opponent's monsters go back to their hand, but since these are Link monsters, just go back to the extra deck. And now you just, you got rid of the board, right? Because this effect doesn't target, this effect doesn't destroy, so it can easily break the board. And it's something you can normal summon, just in case they have something that prevents you from special summon for some reason. At least, this is a nice little normal summon. If you're playing Time Lords, obviously you already have this ready to go, ready to be used. Also, Diana, this deck, Gouki's, what they want to do is they want to link summon. So if you can go first, summon this, set back row, and your turn, you already did 99% of the job just by summoning this, right? And then with the back row to keep it on the field, your opponent can't link summon, your opponent can't special summon. They normal summon Suplex. Suplex ain't gonna be able to summon anything else. And then they can't go into the link plays, so they can't establish a board. So there's that. Tons of other cards you can use, obviously, that have similar effects to 5-Soul Diana. Just this is a very simple, typical one to have access to. Plasma, the whole negate all your opponent's monsters effects so that you can just easily break their boards. And if you're playing Destiny Heroes, you know, make sure you have your plasmas in the deck. These cards don't target or destroy. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, return all your opponent's attack position monsters to hand. Since they're link monsters, they're all definitely going to be in attack mode. So, Storming Mirror Forces is good for breaking the board. Quaking Mirror Force, no, this one's the face down one. Alright, so that's been confirmed. It don't work because they can't go face down. Alright, Drowning Mirror Force. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, shuffle all your opponent's attack position monsters and throw them back into the deck. So, if you have any of these cards, access to any of these, and you're already using them, then obviously you can use these to help you break that board. Using stuff like Solemn Strike to stop the summoning of any link monster, especially a particular one. Like if you can stop Phoenix, then you know you can easily run over the other ones. If you can stop Cerberus, you can easily use a Dark Hole or some type of board wiping effect. Recall is very useful in the instance that they try to get certain effects off. Obviously, it's good against Suplex, as long as you can stop Suplex from summoning something. You can slow them down greatly. Or if they try to do some type of purple combo, as long as you can slow them down, you have a chance of beating them. That's the idea. You got to be able to do something to control the flow of the game, so that way you can have the advantage by reducing your opponent's advantage, or just reducing the resources. Ultimate Promise, same thing. You can negate the monster effects. Macrocosmos, to prevent the Goukis from going to graveyard. And if the Goukis don't go in graveyard, then they don't get anything. And there's other stuff you can use, Dark Law, a Banisher Radiance, and so on and so forth. If you go first, obviously this is like these cards are for going. You go first. Goes in match. Rivalry Warlords are good going first, but also good if you go second, because you can use it to break the boards. Because these cards don't destroy, they send. So since Cerberus is Earth, Phoenix is Fire, Unicorn you see is Dark, Goblin is Wind, Griffin is Light, Warlord is Dark, Isolde is Light, and the main deck Goukis are Dark or Earth. So obviously by playing Goes in Match, you'll affect the deck, because all the Knightmares are fiends. So if they were established their Knightmare board, Rivalry would be useless against them since they're all fiends. But Goes in Match would be useful against them, of course. But because the main deck that makes the Knightmares are warriors, and the Knightmares are fiends, you can use obviously Rivalry Warlords to prevent them using link monsters to go into. They're using their warriors to go into fiend link monsters. The best they can do is go into Isolde. And then summon limit, why not just limit them summoning? You don't have to stop them from being able to summon, just make it where they don't summon as much, because they're trying to summon 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 link monsters. So if you make it they can only summon 2 monsters, just alone summoning Suplex, and then Suplex special summon something from the hand, it's like boom, there, 2 summons, you're done, game over. So also the ruling for summon limit, even if you negate the summon of a monster, if you negate the summon monster, that summon does not count. So it's important to keep in mind. If you have summon on the field and then you sound strike something, remember they still can summon. The fact that you negated the summon means they still have 1 summon left, so that's important to keep in mind. Alright, moving on. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's everything. That's the end of the video.